Hello and welcome. So we've done a few examples with ellipses. You've seen that graphing an ellipse from standard form is fairly straightforward, but a little bit more difficult is if you're given the equation is not in standard form. Okay, so let's look at this equation. We have x squared plus 4y squared minus 4x plus 24y plus 24 equals 0. Okay, so you recognize that it's an ellipse because it has an x squared and a y squared. Coefficients are different and plus in between. So you know that's an ellipse. Even it has other terms. Okay, that just means the center is not at the origin at 0, 0. So we need to rewrite this in standard form. We need to write it as x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Alright? So we have to put in that form in order to figure out what's the center, what's the major, minor axes, all that stuff. Okay? So notice we have squares here, which means we need to complete the square. And we need to do two completion the square. One for the x variable and one for the y variable. So we want to start by getting the constant to the other side, just like with all the completing the squares, and writing all the x's and all the y's together. Okay, so we're going to have x squared minus 4x. I'm going to leave a space to complete the square. And then we have 4y squared plus 24y. We're going to leave the space, and this is negative 24. All right. Now, what's different between these and the circles is that with the ellipse, you're going to have like coefficients here. So these need to be factored out before you complete the square. You can only do completing the square if the coefficient of the leading thing is a 1. So we got to factor out the 4 from here, right, and put it outside. Okay, so we have x squared minus 4x plus 4, y squared plus 6y equals negative 24. Okay, so you gotta factor anything, even if you end up with fractions, you have to make that coefficient equal to 1. Alright, so now we're ready to complete. So to complete the square, you take the b value, the coefficient of the x, you divide by 2 and you square it. 2 squared is 4, so we add 4 here and 4 to the other side. Alright? Okay. Now here, we take the b value, 6 divided by 2, and we square it. 3 squared is 9. We add 9 here. But on the other side, you don't add just 9 because this parenthesis has a 4 in front. So what I added to this side of the equation was 9 times 4, not just the 9. So on that side, you multiply the 9 times the 4, you get 36. So you got to add 36 to both sides. Alright, cool. So we're going to write this in factored form, x minus 2 squared. We're going to write this 4, y plus 3 squared. Add up all these numbers. So negative, this is 16. Alright, we're almost there now because we got to make this into a 1. Right, so divide everything by 16. We have x minus 2 squared over 16 plus, these cancel out, or reduce, y plus 3 squared over 4 equals 1. Okay, cool. We have, let's see, I messed up my grid. It's all right. We have our equation in standard form. The center is at h and k, so 2 and negative 3. My a value, a squared is 16, so a is plus or minus 4. And the b value, b squared is 4, so b is plus or minus 2. Alright, we can graph this. So 2 and negative 3 is the center. Then I go 4 to the right and 4 to the left. and 2 up and 2 down. Right, so where do I end up? 2 and 4 is 6, so I have 6 and negative 3 is one end of it, and negative 2 and negative 3 is the other end of it. And we're going to draw the ellipse. Top half, bottom half. There we go. That's the graph of that ellipse.